Hi there, welcome to this video on fiber and why fiber is so important. It is such a discounted food category. So we're going to talk today about what fiber is, why it's important for us, how much we need, and how we can get this more in our diet through food sources in addition to fruits and vegetables. I think that's the one we hear the most, but there's so many opportunities that we can get more fiber into our life from a variety of food sources. So fiber is essentially the non-digestible part of plants. It comes from carbohydrate foods, and it's from fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, legumes, nuts, and seeds. It's not broken down into sugar molecules like the starchy part of the other components of the carbohydrate. So it essentially passes through our GI tract relatively undigested. The recommended amount of fiber that we need per day is about 25 to 38 grams per day. And this is based on total calorie needs. So if you need around 2,000 calories, that's around how much you need. So this is going to be an individual basis, but essentially 5% of the population is actually meeting the required intake of fiber daily. 5%. That is so minimal. So definitely an area of opportunity that we can focus on getting more into our diet. And there's so many positive health benefits to increasing fiber. So let's talk about it. There's two types of fiber. There's soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber dissolves in water and it forms this gel-like consistency in our GI tract. So in our small intestine, this is good because it can bind cholesterol, specifically LDL cholesterol, which is the lousy cholesterol that we don't want too much of. It also can help bind to estrogen, which can help with cancer, breast cancer specifically, if we're exposed to too much estrogen over a long period of time, that can be more problematic. So it can help to bind those elements and eliminate through our stool. So really helpful for colorectal, colon cancer, breast cancer, and cholesterol levels. So cardiovascular health. And the other piece, so this is going to be found in foods like oatmeal, nuts, beans, lentils, apples, pears, chia seeds, Brussels sprouts, avocado. Avocado is a fruit. And then insoluble fiber, it does not dissolve in water. So this passes through our GI tract relatively unchanged, and insoluble fiber helps to aid bulk to our stool and really helps us to promote regularity with our digestion. Most foods, most whole food plants are going to have a pretty good ratio of both soluble and insoluble fiber sources. So insoluble fiber is going to be things like wheat, brown rice, legumes, veggies, beans, and nuts. Now, fiber is helpful for so many reasons, specifically for affecting our overall intake. So it can be really helpful if you're trying to lose weight or be more mindful of calorie intake. And satiety, our fullness, can really be influenced by fiber. Satiety is essentially that feeling of fullness after we eat a meal. And this can also affect the length of time between eating our next meal and how much we're eating at that next meal. Fiber is slow digesting. It helps slow the rate of digestion of that food source. So even though there is glucose or sugar within that food and there's fiber in it, it slows the rate of digestion. So we get less of those blood sugar spikes and drops. So it can really help to keep us satisfied longer. The other piece that affects intake is satiation or satisfaction. And this is helping to keep us satisfied during a meal and help us stop eating when we're satisfied, right? So many people can't really regulate what this feels like. And this is a huge piece of getting enough fiber in your diet to really help you get that feeling of that satiating feeling. and helps you to stop eating, which can help to regulate intake amount of food consumed at your meals and snacks. So when you have more high fiber foods in your diet, you're displacing calorie dense foods or really energy dense foods. So dietary fat sources are going to be higher in calories. Protein and fat don't have fiber in them. We need those food groups in our diet, but adding this fiber component from carbohydrates with protein, with healthy fats is that combination that our body feels so good with and keeps us satisfied. It also gives us the nutrients that we're needing. And it helps us to displace some of these other more calorie dense foods. So if we're having pizza, that's going to be a more calorie dense option, but we can add some volume with veggies here. And we're going to talk about some other ways that we can add volume as well. One of the things I love to do is adding a bunch of greens on the bottom of my plate as the foundation of my meal. So I'll do like a bunch of spinach, or even if I want something crunchy, maybe some iceberg lettuce. It's not really bringing a lot of even nutritional value, a little bit of fiber, but this adds volume to your meal and it looks like a lot of food. So that's really satisfying too for our body. And then you're adding, your other components, your rice and your protein and even more veggies into that meal with your sauce or flavor. And it just helps to increase. I love to see a lot of food and variety on my plate. That's really satisfying for me. So that's something that works well. Another thing you can do is adding veggies to eggs or omelets or scrambles and increasing volume by a meal that you're having for breakfast. So doing eggs and toast and adding some veggies with that, egg muffin cups, baking those in muffin tins or an omelet. You can also add some frozen berries to your ice cream or frozen yogurt to increase the volume there with a lower calorie option. So adding some blueberries into your ice cream option can add some more as well. You can add a bunch of veggies into your pasta dish. So if you're doing pasta, add a variety of peppers, broccoli, tomatoes, greens, and then some protein mixed in. So you have all this variety. You still can have your pasta, but then you're getting a mixture of these foods together. And again, the vegetables with even the regular pasta is going to keep you satisfied longer by slowing the rate of digestion versus just having the pasta, which is going to digest quickly, blood sugar goes up, and then it falls pretty quickly after that. So we're going to talk about, I have a bunch of different food examples here that we're going to go through. So other examples are consuming whole fruits instead of fruit juices, incorporating skins of the potatoes in your mashed potato. Funny story with this. My dad would tell us that when he was younger, he would honestly just be lazy and not want to peel the potatoes. And so he would cut up the potatoes, boil them, mash them, and he would call them speckled potatoes. And, he would make like a fun thing with it. But he honestly just didn't want to peel the potatoes, but they actually have the fiber in the skin of that food, which is going to be better. Mixing in high fiber cereal with a regular cereal. So if you're someone that likes more of the sugary cereals in the morning, you can just mix in a cereal that's going to have a little more fiber in it to start to slowly add that in, or add some fruit on top, some chia seeds. I'll talk about some of those items. Mixing in some different grains. So we have our traditional, brown rice option. Honestly, brown rice is not tremendously different from white rice if you really look at the fiber content. So in about a quarter cup dry, which is about a half a cup cooked, there is about 2 grams of fiber in brown rice. And in white rice, there's less than 1, 0 grams. So again, it's a little bit more, but it's really not anything too earth shattering. But mixing in other grains can be so helpful. I have some different examples here. Barley is one that can be so underutilized. In a half a cup cooked, there is about 6 grams of fiber in barley, which you make, boil that just like you would rice. Quinoa is a great one. So a half a cup of cooked is about 3 grams of fiber in this. Farro is another great option. 5 grams of fiber in a half a cup cooked. So all those are bringing more to the table. Chickpea pasta is a great option. I had this box saved, but in 2 ounces dry, which is about 4 ounces cooked, is 8 grams of fiber. And this actually lists both soluble and insoluble fiber, 4 grams each of both of those, so total of 8 grams. So chickpeas are just such a good option. And, even just having the canned chickpeas, rinsing those and adding chickpeas to, your salads or bowls can be a great way to add those in. Hummus is also made from chickpeas, so it's going to have, a little bit of that in there as well. So I love that option. Oats are a great one. So making oatmeal in the morning for breakfast. Oats have 4 grams of fiber in a half a cup of dry, which is going to cook to like a 1 cup serving cooked. That's going to be a really good source of soluble fiber. It absorbs water and it increases in volume. And then chia seeds, I love to add to my oatmeal in the morning, or yogurt or smoothies, or even sprinkle it on your toast and peanut butter and banana as a topping. And chia seeds have in 2.5 tablespoons, they have 10 grams of fiber. So tremendous amount. This chia seeds expand in water. So if you were to put them in a liquid like milk or water, they get jelly, like gel-like consistency, but they do the same thing in our digestive tract. But when you mix them with foods with a liquid content like oatmeal or yogurt, they absorb better into that food and they don't have as much of that seedy texture. Another option is these are frozen veggie burgers by Dr. Prager's. And I love these because they have pea protein. So they're a better protein source than other veggie burgers, but they also are a great source of fiber. They have 6 grams of fiber in one patty, 22 grams of protein, which is crazy. So I love these as a quick option for a meal. And peas, talking about peas are one of the highest sources of protein for a vegetable. I mean, not anything crazy. They have 4 grams in a half a cup, but fiber, they have 5 grams in a half a cup. So peas are a good source of fiber that we don't always think about. All of our fruits and vegetables are wonderful. And then nuts are going to be a great source. So I have this huge bag of walnuts, but in a quarter cup, there is 2 grams. So a little bit more. Nuts are going to be a higher fat source, but they do have some fiber. Sunflower seeds are great. And these have 2 grams as well. So most of the nuts and seeds are pretty similar in that regard. And then I have edamame here. Edamame is shelled soybeans. Love to add this to stir fries or even cottage cheese for like more like a savory with everything with bagel seasoning. Great source of protein, but they have 8 grams of fiber. These are so nutrient dense in a half a cup. So they have protein and fiber and they're so satiating. They just keep you feeling so satisfied from a meal. So these are frozen. You can take them out as you like them. Blueberries, these are frozen. These are 1 cup is the serving on the nutrition label. And there's 3 grams of fiber in the blueberries. And then for a cereal option, I just pulled this out of the pantry, but this is honey nut oats and 3 grams of fiber. First ingredient is whole grain oat flour. So the ingredient list on the nutrition label, the first ingredients are listed by the amount, the quantity. So the first few ingredients have the most amount of that food. So whole grains listed first. That means it's going to be a higher source of whole grain. So 3 grams in 1 1/3 cup. So it's a pretty good serving size. What else do I have here in my mixed bag of tricks? Wheat thins. I just wanted to share these are 15 pieces is the serving, and these have about 2 grams of fiber. First ingredient is whole grain wheat flour. So, decent option. I do love Good Thins. I think these are great just because they have very minimal ingredients. So this is literally white rice, and that's why there's no fiber in these. and just like some oil and salt. So they're really straightforward, pretty similar nutrition actually as the wheat thins in terms of calories and serving. But these can be great for any allergies. If people have gluten-free needs, those can be great options as well. And then the last thing I have here is some bars. So I have this advanced bar here. This is from Aldi's, and it was just like a protein bar that I found that I wanted to try. Elevation is the brand. And there is fiber in this, 12 grams of fiber, which is quite a bit for a protein bar, and 18 grams of protein. The difference is though, when you're finding fiber in these food sources, they are added by a food manufacturer. They're not naturally coming from a food source. So the fiber here is cellulose and inulin, it looks like. So, I mean, that's fine. You just have to be careful because sometimes they can upset your stomach. So just being aware of that, how much fiber is in one at a time. And then RX bars, I love these. Straightforward ingredients. And there is 5 grams of fiber. This is coming from the nuts and dates naturally, 12 grams of protein. So these are great for on the go as well. And they're coming from whole food sources in this option. So I just wanted to share with you some different varieties of things. I did want to, popcorn is another one. That's a great snack. Popcorn has some great fiber. And I did have written down 1 cup of popcorn is 37 calories. This is not including the toppings and the butter and stuff. 1 cup of peanuts, which is going to be more calorie dense, is 828 calories. So huge difference in terms of density of food. So you can get a lot more volume with the popcorn, just being mindful of the toppings that are on it that way. And then if you currently are not eating very much fiber, you just want to slowly increase the amount of fiber that you're eating. So if you're eating like 10 grams a day, which is pretty average, it's what I see a lot of times when I'm working with people, you want to slowly increase how much you're having, a few grams a day. And this can just be by meals, just swapping one thing at a time. Because if you're adding too much fiber at once, it can really upset your GI tract. What's happening is the healthy gut bacteria. Fiber is the prebiotic of probiotics, our healthy gut bacteria. And we need fiber as food for our healthy gut bacteria. And if they don't get it consistently, and then all of a sudden we're giving our GI tract all this amazing fiber, they're going to town and chomp and eat, and then they excrete gas when they are fermenting the fiber as they're using it as their food source. So that's a lot of the reasons why this happens. So if you have that, bloating or gas, it's your GI tract is loving on that prebiotic fiber. So make sure you're also drinking lots of water and liquids as you're adding fiber to help move it through your GI tract and slowly introduce increasing how much you're having. So I hope that was some helpful tips for you all and made it a little less daunting and overwhelming on realistic ways that you can add fiber. And we did minimal topic on fruits and veggies. These are a no-brainer. Add these to every meal. Absolutely. It's going to be such a good way, even frozen options. But I just wanted to bring to your attention that there's so many other options to increase fiber in addition to fruits and vegetables. So I'd love to know, what was the one biggest takeaway that either surprised you or something that you're going to implement in one of the swaps that we talked about? I'd love to know in the comments below. Let me know if I can do anything for you, and I'll talk to you soon.